welcome viewers. I'm Pia and you're watching NewsX World. Let's take a look at the top headlines this hour. US President Donald Trump says that he's held a very successful meeting on Gaza at the sidelines of the UNGA. While speaking to reporters as he left the UN headquarters, Trump has stated that he expects Israel to join the talks soon and added that he believes a deal on a ceasefire in Gaza can be worked out. US President Donald Trump has stated that he believes Ukraine can retake all land occupied by Russia and says that Kiev should act now, pointing to Moscow's major economic issues. Meanwhile, Trump has also warned that incursions by Russian drones and fighter jets must be met with force. Ukrainian drones have struck Russia's Salavat petrochemical complex for the second time in a week, disrupting one of Gazprom's largest fuel and chemical plants. The attacks, part of a wider strike campaign, has also hit Ufa's refinery. It has come as peace talks stall and Russia faces fuel shortages amidst reduced refinery output. Typhoon Ragasa, the world's most powerful cyclone this year, has killed 14 people and left 154 people missing in Taiwan before flooding Hong Kong. The storm is now barreling towards China, where hundreds of flights have been cancelled and millions take emergency shelters. Russia's finance ministry has proposed raising value-added tax from 20% to 22% starting in 2026 to help fund military spending in the fifth year of its war with Ukraine. US President Donald Trump, while commenting on Truth Social, stated that Russia is in major economic trouble and has called President Putin's war effort a paper tiger. The International Monetary Fund will send a staff mission to Nairobi in Kenya from 25th September to 9th October to begin talks on a possible IMF-backed program, as Kenya's central bank governor Kamau Thuge has stated that the country wants its next arrangement to be a funded program. South Korea's Food and Drug Safety Ministry has stated that it will review data from paracetamol importers after US President Donald Trump linked Tylenol use in pregnancy to autism. However, the World Health Organization and European Medicines Agency reaffirmed the safety of the drug. Meanwhile, Kim Kyun-hee, wife of ousted former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, went on trial in Seoul on charges of bribery, stock manipulation and illegal political fundraising. If convicted, the former First Lady faces up to 5 years in prison as the high-profile case continues to rock South Korean politics. Well, viewers, those were the headlines and our top focus. Kremlin has stated that there's no alternative but to continue its invasion of Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has told that Russia's special military operation will continue to protect Russian interests and achieve its goals. He's added that Russian troops are advancing on all fronts across Ukraine. Peskov has rejected US President Donald Trump's claim that Ukraine could retake all its lost territory. The Kremlin has also praised Trump's willingness to help resolve the conflict, but pointed out that Trump, as a businessman, is trying to push the world to buy American oil and gas at higher prices. Meanwhile, as per reports, Ukraine has struck Russia's Neftakip Salavat plant with drones overnight. Joining us on the broadcast is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, a former Indian diplomat. Thank you, sir, for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. We've heard Trump's nearly 1 hour speech yesterday at the UNGA. He had a lot to say about Russia and Ukraine. He has emphasized that Ukraine can retake its former territories that is now occupied by Russia due to the ongoing war. Russia has now responded, stating that it will continue to protect Russian interests and achieve its goals. Trump, for a long time, has been mooting a trilateral meeting, but that somehow has not catalyzed till now. But it's very interesting that his tone and his tenor has consistently been shifting with regards to the war between Russia and Ukraine. We all remember how he humiliated Zelensky as soon as he was sworn into power. Then after that, he met Putin in Alaska a while back, and now he's making a U-turn again. What do you make of Donald Trump's ever-shifting stance?
Thank you for having me. I think it's a very puzzling question as to what makes Mr. Trump say these kind of things. There are those who have read his book uh, called The Art of the Deal uh, would swear by his basic uh, analogy to or push towards somehow making the deal, and the means justify the ends in whatever way. Another tenet of that particular book is uh, the concept of truthful uh, boasting. So he has been boasting around like Ukraine can take all the territories, etc. He has been shifting his stance depending on how does he think at the moment the tactic of the deal would help him. I believe that these inconsistent remarks over a period of 7 months do not show him in a good light. And I think that there were greater stability and composure are needed. He seems frustrated by his uh, initial boast of stopping the war within 24 hours, as he was on a very good term with Putin, has not been borne out. It's been 7 months, and the war is no closer to a denouement. So therefore, I think his frustrations are spilling around. Then, alongside, there is another sort of stream of Trump trying to withdraw himself from this catastrophic war, which has produced no particular results and is likely to expand, somehow creating frictions between NATO allies and Russia. So he is trying to jettison himself by asking Europeans to engage with Zelensky, giving moral support or braggadocio to Zelensky to hang on and to try and recoup the territory, which seems rather difficult task, if not impossible, given the fact that 3.5 years into the war, the Ukrainian forces are tired and are slowly withdrawing from the ground, uh, with Russians advancing. So I believe that the stage is being set to leave the conflict in the hands of Europeans who are not very united on Ukraine, and United States shifting to something else, such as negotiations with China, India, and putting the economy of United States back together.
All right, sir, I request you to stay on with us as we're tracking further developments related to this war. Polish President Karol Nawrocki has addressed the United Nations General Assembly, accusing Russia of imperialism after drones breached Polish airspace 2 weeks ago. Nawrocki has stressed upon Poland's readiness to defend its sovereignty and has reiterated the country's demands for reparations from Germany for the Second World War and damages related to that. He's also criticized Europe's recent ideological shift, aligning with US President Donald Trump on its migration policies and economic challenges as well. Take a look.
Ponownie zaczynamy doświadczać rosyjskiego imperializmu także na naszych ziemiach, w Polsce. 2 tygodnie temu w nocy z 9 na 10 września doszło do ataku rosyjskich dronów na terytorium państwa członkowskiego NATO, na terytorium Polski. Że Polska zawsze będzie odpowiednio reagować i jest gotowa do obrony swojego terytorium. Polacy... Tak, zgadzam się z prezydentem Donaldem Trumpem, że w ostatnich latach, przed czym przestrzegaliśmy jako Polacy, i taki sygnał szedł też z Europy Środkowej i Wschodniej, Europa pogrążyła się w ideologicznym szale, który doprowadził do złych decyzji w zakresie migracji.
Still with us on the broadcast is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev. Interesting statement by the Polish president. We've recently seen these incursions take place not just in Poland but in Romania as well. NATO has in fact convened its Operation Eastern Sentry with regards to these incursions. Do you think the war is likely to protract if it continues?
I think odds favor friction along NATO's border with Belarus and Russia, but it does not presage any sharp escalation into a conflict. I think 2 or 3 messages are being given to those countries that border Russian and Belarusian territory. Firstly, they are being told that their own defense would come under strain if they go too far with Ukraine in assisting Ukraine's offensive against Russia. Secondly, they want one of the reasons this is being done is to probe the defense preparedness of these states, which and find whether there are any gaps and that can be exploited. Thirdly, I think in substantial minorities of these countries are pacifist and they do not want conflict with Russia. And these segments of the society are being tested. Meaning the airports in Helsinki, Oslo, and Copenhagen have come under allegedly under Russian drone attacks. You also have other activities, as you have cited, fighter aircraft intruding into Estonia and Romania facing some drone activity as well. So all these appear to be a concerted campaign unacknowledged by either Moscow or by Belarusians. But nevertheless, they have rattled the countries. As you put out, the Polish president is invoking history of imperialism of Russia and German war reparations, etc., which have long been sore points with Polish nationalists. So all that is not a good harbinger of the peaceful atmosphere that has existed between northern flank of NATO as well as the southern flank in Romania. But I think these kind of incidents are likely to continue, but they are not likely to result into something major, such as dogfights or overflights by Air Force jets, etc. It also shows that NATO lacks cohesive strategy when a drone costing not more than a few $100 is to be costed by F-16s and F-35s, which are far more expensive to run. So NATO would have to come up with its own proportionate response or against these drones, etc. And that is where the search is on at the moment in the European NATO capitals. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time, speaking to us, sharing your perspective on these developments. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to the Middle East. We're now learning that U.S. Special Envoy for Syria, Tom Barrack, has stated that Syria and Israel are close to striking a de-escalation agreement. He has stated that as per the agreement, Israel will stop its attacks while Syria will agree to not move any machinery or heavy equipment near the Israeli border. Syria and Israel are in talks to reach an agreement that Damascus hopes will secure a halt to Israeli airstrikes and the withdrawal of Israeli troops who have pushed into southern Syria. Barrack stated that this agreement will be the first step towards the security deal that the two countries have been negotiating. Earlier, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara had also stated on the sidelines of the UNGA that talks had reached an advanced stage and that he hoped that the agreement will keep the sovereignty of Syria intact and will also resolve security fears for Israel. Now, according to al-Shara, Israel has carried out more than 1,000 strikes on Syria and conducted more than 400 ground incursions since December 2024, when former President Bashar al-Assad's government was ousted. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Peter Baum, foreign editor at the Weekly Blitz, joining us live from London. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX. Interesting statement by U.S. Special Envoy. He has stated that Syria and Israel are close to striking a de-escalation agreement. If this does fructify, how would this impact the geopolitical dynamics in the Middle East?
This would be something quite remarkable if this agreement comes to fruition. There will be several winners and losers if de-escalation occurs. The losers will certainly be Iran and the proxies she has been encouraging and financing within Syria and Lebanon. Israel will certainly be absolutely delighted at their achievements that have forced the Syrians to come to this negotiation stance, and if Ambassador Barrack can pull it off, it will be quite remarkable. The other losers, of course, will be Hezbollah, which has been operating in Syria, and some of those smaller, let's call them militant groups that were supporters of Assad. Now, the winners clearly will be the Syrian people, the Druze and Christian communities who have been begging Israel for help in stopping the rogue elements of Syria's militant groups in their action against them, and Israel has achieved that. And the other winner in all this will undoubtedly be President Erdogan of Turkey. He has been the one player who has supported the new regime in Syria. They managed to oust Assad and demilitarize all the Russian equipment from the area. And if Erdogan is clever, he will be able to place himself on the world stage as being a true mediator between the regime that he has supported in Syria and Israel, providing the de-escalation is achieved. This will be a major blow, believe me, to Iran and her proxies, and it is hoped that the Israelis will be delighted if de-escalation is achieved, because the next step might be for Syria to become a member of the Abraham Accords. So geopolitically, going back to your question, it has huge implications, positive ones, I would suggest, for the region, but negative for those Iranian elements and the proxies she supports.
All right, sir, I request you to stay on with us. We're tracking more developments. Germany's Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul has now described Israel's recent military assault in Gaza City as disproportionate. In response to Israel's Security Cabinet approving a plan to take over Gaza City, Berlin has suspended all military exports to Israel that could be used in Gaza. Now, this marks a significant shift as Germany has traditionally been one of Israel's most enthusiastic supporters. The move comes amid growing international concern over the escalating humanitarian crisis and rising casualties in Gaza. The death toll has crossed more than 65,000 since the war commenced on the 7th of October 2023. Germany now is also considering further actions against Israel in coordination with other European Union partners as well. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Peter Baum. Interesting angle aspect chosen by Germany at this point. Their complete shift as far as their strategy with Israel is concerned. They've traditionally been a strong supporter of Israel, but now, of course, they've stated that that the ground assault in Gaza City is disproportionate, and they've also, in fact, stated that they will be suspending all military exports to Israel that could be used in Gaza. What do you make of this shift in Germany's tone and terror? This, of course, follows that of France, Belgium, the United Kingdom recognizing Palestine.
Yeah, this will come as a real blow to Netanyahu and his administration. How far the Germans actually go from their statements and the rhetoric to actually imposing a full ban on military equipment that could be used in Gaza has yet to be 100% confirmed. But if so, this will be a huge blow to Netanyahu and the Israeli people and the Israeli cabinet. It does mark a shift in German policy, although I must say, reading through the statement that the Chancellor made, he also suggested that the Gaza situation cannot be influenced by external players, meaning that it's up to the Israelis and the Palestinians themselves to resolve this problem. So there's a bit of doublespeak here, but if in fact the statement is true, then it will be a major change of policy from Germany. It will align itself with, actually, it will even go further than what France and Britain have done. Spain has suggested that she will no longer supply Israel with any military equipment. So Germany has gone one step further. And because of that, and because it's such a major shift in policy, I'd like to wait 24 to 48 hours to see if, in fact, the statement is as clear and concise as the German Chancellor seems to have made it. But if it is true, then it will be a major blow to Israel, undoubtedly.
All right, so with that, I would like to thank you for speaking to us, sharing your analysis of what's taking place in the Middle East and other related developments. Shifting focus to Southeast Asia, we're now learning that Typhoon Ragasa has wreaked havoc in Taiwan. 15 people have lost their lives and 154 others are missing. A day after a barrier lake overflowed and completely sunk a township in Taiwan's eastern county of Hualien, the residents in the eastern town of Guangfu are now wading through ankle-deep mud and damaged homes. Meanwhile, the massive waves triggered by Ragasa have hammered the coastlines of Hong Kong as well. The super typhoon has also uprooted trees and left debris and branches on the streets. Remember earlier, Hong Kong had issued the Signal 10 warning, which is the highest warning that urges businesses and transport services to shut down as well. You can clearly see in those visuals on your screens the sheer amount of speed through winds, with the winds are gushing in Taiwan at the moment. With us on the broadcast is Dr. Bonnie Yushi Liao, Assistant Professor at Tamkang University in Taiwan, joining us from Taipei. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us. At the outset, I'd like to ask you, are your loved ones, your family and friends, are they safe and sound?
Yes, thank you for asking. I'm in Taipei, and apart from heavier rain on September 23rd, daily life has been largely normal, and everyone around me is safe, so thank you. The real devastation is on Taiwan's east coast, especially in Hualien, where a barrier lake overflow sent a sudden surge through Guangfu Township.
How severe is the damage over there? We know that 15 people have lost their lives and more than 150 people are now reported to be missing.
It's serious in Hualien as of 4 p.m. today, on September 24th. Authorities reported 15 fatalities and 17 people still unaccounted for and 32 injured. Most of them in Hualien. Nationwide, 635 incidents were logged, with emergency teams actively working through the majority of them. Those figures continue to be updated as search teams reach more areas cut off by flood and debris.
Indeed, you've told that there are teams that are already being deployed. Apart from that, what is being done by the authorities to mitigate the impact and provide relief to those who've been affected?
Taiwan's Central Emergency Operations Center is fully activated, with Hualien maintaining the highest alert level. The Interior Minister, Liu, is leading coordination, and thousands of residents, over 4,800 at one point due to the landslide lake, have been evacuated to shelters. Central agencies have deployed to Hualien to stabilize the barrier lake area, restore critical services, and support search and rescue and clean up so families can return to normal life as quickly as possible.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bonnie Yushi Liao, for taking out time speaking to us on NewsX World. Here's hoping that the situation normalizes very, very soon and the people who've been affected are able to bounce back from this tragedy. Meanwhile, viewers, we're shifting focus to news coming in from Bangkok. We're now learning that a busy road in Bangkok suddenly caved in early Wednesday, leaving a huge hole about 50 meters wide in front of Wajira Hospital and a local police station. The collapse pulled down power lines and revealed a burst water pipe, which officials say likely caused the erosion under the road after recent heavy rain. The sinkhole is connected to an underground subway station construction site operated by the state-run Mass Rapid Transit Authority, which is now investigating this incident. Police and city officials evacuated nearby apartments and the police station for safety of the people over there. Wajira Hospital suspended outpatient services temporarily, and residents nearby were startled by a loud rumbling sound that shook their buildings as the road collapsed. Authorities, meanwhile, continue securing the area and assessing damage to prevent further risks. In fact, listen in to what the Bangkok governor and director of Bangkok's Disaster Prevention Department have had to say.
The location is a station, so you have a diaphragm wall of the station, and the shaft of the tunnel come the intersection between the two. I think there's some collapse in the tunnel, and the soil just sucked into the station. So that's why you have a sinkhole here. So right now the situation a little bit safer, but we need to plug the failure, so stop the soil for coming in. Yeah, so I think the situation, nobody injured.
แล้วหลังจากนั้นเนี่ยมันก็มีลักษณะของน้ำการกระทุดตัวแค่เล็กเดียวบนผิวจราจรไม่มากนะแต่หลังจากนั้นก็จะมีการขยายวงกว้างเพราะว่าพบว่ามันมีท่อประปาแตกพอท่อประปาแตกปุ๊บเนี่ยมันน้ำก็ช่วยในการเซาะดินข้างใต้ไปนะครับมันก็เลยเกิดเหตุการณ์ที่ขึ้นมาแต่หลัก
All right, viewers, due to paucity of time, this is all we have for this bulletin. More news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned on NewsX World.